Hello and welcome to the Getting Started with an AWS Solution Real-World Practices course from Cloud Academy. My name is Adam Hawkins and I'm your instructor for this course. I've been using AWS for years now and I am somewhat of an actual admitted fanboy. AWS has been my go-to cloud provider for years now. I'll share my knowledge and personal experiences with you throughout this course to prep you for building an application on AWS. AWS has come a long way since it was introduced. I remember when I started out, the AWS console was overwhelming then, and I gotta tell you, it's even worse now if you're just starting out. But lucky for you, you found this course. So give me 30 minutes of your time, and I'll give you the confidence to build it right the first time. Have no fear, my friend, you're in good hands. My goal is to untangle the AWS landscape and teach you to build applications on AWS. This begins by first understanding what AWS has to offer you, and make no mistake, they sure do have a lot these days, and to decide if these make sense for your use case, but considering the appropriate trade-offs, of course. We'll also cover best practices for scaling, monitoring, security, and ultimately stretching your dollars further. Sound good? Let's enumerate the specific learning objectives. Select the AWS services for your application, design an auto-scaling application, prepare a monitoring and alerting strategy, also secure your application and AWS account, and finally learn to budget, track, and ultimately reduce your costs. These objectives all sound well and good, but who do they apply to? This course has a real-world practices vibe, so you'll need prior AWS experience to relate to most of the material in this course. We're discussing the various AWS services and things like VPCs or virtual private clouds, and IAM, your identity and access management service. If those acronyms ring a bell, then you're in the right place. If not, or you don't have any experience with AWS, then I suggest you complete the Compute Fundamentals for AWS course and then come back to my course. This course is best suited for people who have worked with individual services such as EC2 or Lambda and want to learn the best practices for building an entire solution spanning multiple AWS services, or people who've built a few solutions and want to see if they're on the right track. In a nutshell, if you want to gain confidence in building applications on AWS, then this course is just the ticket. You should skip this course if you've been building and deploying applications to AWS for years. We'll start off discussing the key services in the AWS portfolio. Odds are you'll need a few of these to deploy any application to AWS and not just your specific application. We'll cover the various prepackaged solutions and their trade-offs to help you decide if they make sense for your application in a simple pass, hold, adopt model. Next, we'll cover securing your application and AWS account using IAM. After that, we'll cover scaling and monitoring your application with CloudWatch, and finally we'll talk about cost tracking and budgeting. The course concludes with my final recommendations and your next learning objectives. So my friend, ready to get going? Join me in the next lesson where we walk through the AWS portfolio and pick the ones that make sense for you. Catch you there.